Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to go over something in the New Testament that had me stumped for a very long time. Now this isn't one of the ones that everyone always talks about, like that Jesus said, "The Father is greater than I." Rather, it has to do with an incident described in all three synoptic gospels, the raising of Jairus' daughter from death. So as I'm sure many of you know, Jairus comes to Jesus and begs for him to come to his house and heal his 12-year-old daughter, who is at the point of death. Jesus goes with him, and large crowds are following. We hear that from the great crowd, the woman with hemorrhages came and touched Jesus' clothes and was healed of her affliction. On the way, they also hear a message that Jairus' daughter has indeed died. But Jesus tells Jairus to have faith, and they keep going. Finally, they reach the house, and there are mourners outside weeping. But Jesus tells them that the girl is not dead, but merely asleep. They laugh at these words from Jesus, but then Jesus puts them all out, letting only Peter, John, James, and the girl's parents inside the house where the dead girl is. Jesus then takes the girl's hand and says, "Talitha cum," which means, "Little girl, arise." And indeed she does, demonstrating the Lord's authority over life and death. Now, interestingly, if you compare the three different accounts, you will find that Matthew's account by far has the fewest details, but Luke and Mark both include more details and are fairly similar. And both Luke and Mark mention that after Jesus raises Jairus' daughter from death, he strictly warns the parents to not say anything about what happened. And this is where my confusion came in. As I already said, there was a huge crowd following Jesus and Jairus to the house. While Jesus didn't let the crowd come in, they all presumably would have been right outside, and it wouldn't have been long before they realized that Jairus' daughter was alive. So doesn't the command to not tell anyone seem rather useless? There's no way that a huge crowd came just to not find out what actually happened to Jairus' daughter. Whether the parents said anything about it or not would be irrelevant. They'd find out. They were all right there, right outside the house. So for a long time, this had me very, very confused. However, I eventually realized that this instant was actually Jesus' brilliance on full display. Because when Jesus said, "She's not dead, only asleep," he was playing the long game. Of course, the people laughed at him when he first said this. But then, the girl really was alive. Jesus had planted the seed in their minds that Jairus' daughter was not actually dead. And so when they inevitably found out that Jairus' daughter was alive, they would have one of two options. A, that the girl actually was merely asleep, even though she had seemed dead, or B, she was actually dead and was now alive. So which of these options would they have found to be more probable? By saying that she was only asleep and not dead, Jesus helped to steer the people in the direction of the first option. So the people indeed would have thought that Jesus merely woke this girl from a very deep, almost death-like sleep. By making sure that the actual truth didn't get out, Jesus prevented pandemonium. They would have probably tried to make him a king by force, which is something that's also mentioned in the Gospel of John. And his ultimate purpose would have been more difficult to achieve because of the people. For this reason, Jesus made sure that only the parents and his favorite apostles knew what had really happened until he had already completed his purpose on this world. Overall, I think this incident really speaks to the wisdom of Jesus Christ, who himself is called the wisdom of God in the New Testament. This is also just one example of a larger series of incidents where Jesus tries to limit the amount of people who know the truth about his identity, which is a phenomenon known as the Messianic secret. Now, the idea of the Messianic secret motif has itself generated some controversy and debate, so I plan to make a video about that topic in the future. For now, though, I thank you for watching. I hope that this helped you to work through potentially challenging Bible verses, and I hope you have a very blessed day.